years with the last few years of life of Linus Pauling, but also we have some of the nutraceuticals we've kind of adopted and done some minor changes to, adding liposomes to make our Indium-E, to add to make our special NutriSilver and so on. But also the technology you've privately invented with your scientists, like the Magi, and of course you represented Dr. Fisher in Germany, who developed the QRS mat and the Celvito mat, and your post-military contacts that actually rebuilt the original invention but upgraded it from Nikola Tesla. It's a dual machine. It actually has two purposes. Number one, it generates a resonant field to block electromagnetic radiation. Number two, it has the curved and the straight electrodes called the photon sound beam Tesla violet ray machine that generates ozone. And Dr. Dan Royal, using that machine combined with the QRS mat, shown cancer markers at labs in New Jersey and in Boston, have actually shown that cancer markers go away in 2 to 4 weeks, which means this technology is resurrective. The Magi is a really amazing technology, and I think it erases electrotoxins and amplifies the signal-noise ratio. It's one of the first things I'm telling people after they get their lumen photon they should have. Everybody should have a Magi. In fact, I think you're shipping 2 to me, so I'll have one to get to my son, who's going to go back to Boston where he lives when he comes out in a few weeks' time. And the Magi is tuned to the mineral resonance because your minerals determine and turn on your DNA to make all the proteins and enzymes in your body. It's literally, as God said in the Bible, it's the Sabbath. It's the mineral resonance that actually determines your gene turning on to make proteins and enzymes. Everything is dependent. That's all DNA codes for. It can code how to build an organ, too, and we're working on that code, how to break down the resonant, I call origami code, of how when you have a peptide, like Dr. Cavinson from the Research Institute in St. Petersburg developed this years ago, who's now the head of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine in Europe. You have to understand that this Magi is a major breakthrough. And I don't know how you and your colleagues came through with this device, but it from the reports I have so far that you've given, it's miraculous, isn't it?
Well, it truly is, and I've told one gentleman, it surely isn't me, because I'm not smart enough to come up with this. I get things in the wee hours of the morning when I'm still asleep.
Well, God gives you inspiration. I believe you're tapped in just like I am. And we don't have on our own knowledge totality without the inspiration from the Creator, right? And I believe that God does that for you.
Yeah, exactly. I saw what I should do with these magnets and the configuration, and so I thought, well, I'll play around with it and see. And by golly, what's happened when they combine that with the specific frequency of sound, the results are just mind-blowing. I was showing a gentleman today, electrical engineer, just before we talked to you, before you called, and I showed him what was happening with my tri-field meter, and it's a very sophisticated machine from Germany, and it's called HF34C, that basically maps out frequencies and pulses that are harmful and those that are beneficial.
What's that machine again called? It's just say it a little slower so I can kind of Google it. What is it?
It's I'll pull the box up here. It's a HF analyzer. HF
analyzer, right? And this is from Germany. I have all kinds of the technical stuff like that here in my studio and office too.
Yeah,
and that's from Germany, right?
Yeah, it's German. Gigahertz Solutions, made in Germany. I think Dr. Fisher...
yeah, I got it here. I got it. HF Analyzer HF32D Gigahertz Solutions. Yeah, I got it.
Well, this is a 35C. It's a little bit better, a different...
Anyway, it's a little even higher. Uh-huh.
But what it does is I've been for years I've been using this technology to analyze houses where people are chronically ill, don't know why, and usually there's a couple of old bad spots where there's some real nasty electrosmog coming into their body, and I've been able to analyze that. And the banks at one time were wanting to do old houses and check for them before they would approve loans and that type of thing. But
right.
It's kind of gone away. But anyway, I still have the equipment to test that. And what's really amazing, Dr. Bill, is what we're finding is two parts with this Magi. Okay, when the DC, the direct current, is working off the battery pack, we've got a field that roughly goes about 9 feet all around the individual that's putting it on. I demonstrated to the engineer, strapped it on his sacrum, turned on and went with that machinery and measured the pulsed electromagnetic wave all the way out 9 feet.
Right.
Well, that really produces a cocoon of energy that absolutely, as he knows, he's an engineer who's very much opposed to what's happening with the 5G and the coming 6G. So it's crazy when you have that broadband microwave structure. It's going to destroy cells over time. It's just going to cause all kinds of havoc.
Right.
He knows, and so, but he says if you have a pulsed frequency that can come out that we know is beneficial to the body, it doesn't cause this problem over time. What happens is it basically diffuses that 5G or Wi-Fi or cell phone signals. It diffuses it so that it doesn't really cause the problems at cellular level. That's our premise, and that's our science behind it. But what I was going to say is, when we found that when we plug this in to charge it, follow the instructions to charging it, you switch the Magi circuit board on, and when you plug it into the AC adapter to charge the battery up, what happens is suddenly that wave is, I mean, I've been measuring this with the HF35C clear out to the street. It goes, I'm figuring about 1,000 square feet of protection of this thing puts out. I mean, I was, Bill, that's just, I can't believe that. Neither could the engineer, because just by the little circuit board itself should only be doing maximum about 4 or 5 feet. But it's the magnetic. It's the magnetic structure that we can only think we can figure out what's doing it. It's amplifying that what we call a chopper frequency to the point where it's 1,000 feet radius. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. By the way, I have one of these gigahertz solution analyzers, and it has a big long antenna on it. I have had one for years. In fact, my guys in Leslie Math recommend I get one. I may have an older version of it, but these things will detect smart meters, Wi-Fi routers, cell towers, all kinds of stuff, won't they?
Okay. While we're here, I can turn. I'm just busy assembling one right now. I can turn the pulse on. I'm going to turn the Magi unit on. This is only DC now. Imagine when I put this on the charger this amplifies to the point where it'll deafen you. I'm going to let our listeners hear the 432 hertz pulse. This is a radio frequency. You can't hear it until I turn on the HF35C. Now I'm doing it. Here we go. Ready?
Right. Wow.
That's the pulse, and it's on the lowest setting on the audio. This thing is crazy powerful.
Okay. Let me summarize for people that aren't technical what I think it does. 2 or 3 things. Number one, when you go when you're a kid and watching your grammar teacher kind of taking a big moistened eraser to erase the chalk off the board, this raises the little sticky notes of electropollution on your cells and DNA. The second thing it does is increase what's called the signal to noise. In other words, it makes the signal really crisp between the little antenna on the end of your chromosomes and the ion channels that turn on your DNA induction to make messenger RNA inside the little sphere that holds your DNA called the nucleoplasm inside your cell. It's a little sphere that holds all your DNA. And everybody has one little tiny sphere that holds all their DNA inside their cell. And the third thing it does, it actually restores what's called the normal, what I call hologram of what your body is, or what should be. In other words, every day we're fractionally cloning ourselves into our new body. And I use it as some analogies so people can kind of get the idea. No one's older than a 7-year-old. Well, some of your organs and tissues are actually replaced in 4 days, like your gut lining. But if you look at 7 years, even neurological cells, you replace enough neural connections, you're actually a new clone of your previous self. What this device does, it's almost like electromagnetic toner to make sure you photocopy yourself better into your new body. It clears the electropollution from your body, like the e-toxins from dirty electricity, smart grid, and now Wi-Fi and now 5G, 6G networks that are coming. And it restores your ability to turn on your DNA, which, if you look at the primary cause of aging, there's basically 2 or 3 vectors. The first vector is a reduction in the cell zeta potential so that you stop making new messenger RNA to make protein and enzymes. The second is you start to shut down your mitochondria. And when you use this machine, your mitochondrial energy goes up dramatically. We have nutraceuticals that help it too, like our Sports Energy Light Drink and NADH and other things to help that. But when you use this machine, immediately it wipes it. It's like an eraser, like your chalk eraser, to erase all the pollution on your cells. And it increases the signal talk to your DNA. And it actually amplifies and makes a better toner to photocopy you into a better body tomorrow when you go to sleep tonight. And if you think about that non-technically, that's what it's doing. The Magi. Now, if you have the right nutraceuticals on top of that, you get a way better response, because you need, like the Field of Dreams. You remember that show years ago, where the guy built a baseball park for the deceased baseball stars. And so, if you build it, they will come. And the baseball stars, or their ghosts, came to this field he built, so the Field of Dreams, right? And the problem is, you have to understand that we exist in a realm where our whole world is a hologram, but our body is literally primarily an informational hologram that descends like Chachina dolls into physical flesh. We're primarily an information being. And if you want to talk about the Bible talks about it as voice. In other words, voice is frequency or vibration or sound. And those frequencies in the hologram actually create you as a four-dimensional person that has time, space, capacity, and the ability to re-energize and reclone yourself into a new body every time you go to sleep. So this machine makes that better in every way, doesn't it?
Seems to. I had a really interesting conversation yesterday, Monday.
Right.
The gentleman. Let me get a bit of background history for this fellow. He contacted me through another practitioner friend. He's concerned about his wife of 40 plus years.
Right.
Being diagnosed with dementia, early stages of Alzheimer's. And he was concerned, even though he spent so much money getting her the best care possible, frustrated because she was so slowly descending down to the point where a couple mornings she would wake up and she would look at him and scream at him, the strange man is in her bed. And that really, really was upsetting to him, as you can imagine.
Right.
Wow. So anyway, I recommended the Cell Vital or QRS machine because there's all kinds of studies on the QRS to help dementia, to arrest it. Right. So he spent the money, got the QRS, got the photon sound beam as well after learning about what that did in combo and talking to Dr. Royal.
Right.
Well, the dementia didn't get worse, but it didn't get remarkably improved either. She would have some good days, some bad days. He was encouraged that, well, at least it may not get any worse, but she's not getting better. And I would keep telling him sometimes it takes 90 days to 6 months, in the studies. It just can't happen instantaneously overnight. Be patient. And so he was. So anyway, then the friend told him about the Magi technology, and then I sent him, he says, he demanded one. I thought it'd be a great test subject. I sent one out to him, and he just reported calling me on Monday and was just ecstatic. He says the very first night after the Magi was placed on her,
right,
said she the next morning they woke up and she was cuddling with him and said to him, where have you gone? Where have you been? And
yeah, she was in almost like a dream state, which is what dementia is. It's almost like you're walking through into the astral plane because your brain is shutting down, and the hologram that makes you think starts to vaporize because you can't create what's called a non-localized hologram of neural vibrations that can create a recall of previous memories and organize it into concepts. When you start doing treatment like the Magi, and you add my NutriMeds like Cognition Plus, Brain Power, etc., and remyelinating and neurotransmitter support, then you'll get really good effects. So that's including stem cell therapy or even peptides will dramatically increase. But the Magi is, I call, a resurrection technology, isn't it?
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get emergency foods for your supply for preparation and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop down message at NutriMedical.com and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop down menu and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapies throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance by Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Yeah, so you mentioned about one of your colleagues that actually has been listening to the show for years, Dr. Eric Brinkhurst, and how he's really interested in this. I think what's really cool to me is that doctors that have often been kind of toying with the alternative. For example, about 95% of people that go to our academy meetings, like the American Academy of Environmental, Anti-Aging, and Functional Medicine, we call Advancement of Medicine, and other academies, more and more providers are getting their toes wet and getting into it because they realize they're getting feedback from some of the patients that are out there going through the blogosphere and getting some technology and getting some improvement. I use a formula called S2 equals H. Signal plus substance equals health. And the things that you've seen in our environment in terms of what we're doing is we've got mineral depleted soil, we've got nutrient deficient nutraceuticals in food, and our vegetables in food. So, for example, since the 1940s, because we use gas to kill off the pathogens in the soil, and we've over-farmed with farming technology without putting minerals back like from the Dead Sea, and then we use pesticides that attach to proteins, or we have now monoculture crops that are genetically modified that are much more likely to be immunogenic. When you combine all these things with electropollution and pesticides and toxins in the air, food, and water getting back from water recycling or just the environment, more and more people are toxic, more and more people are getting gene silencing, more and more people are getting new diseases earlier. Like when I went to medical school back almost approaching 50 years ago, 47 years ago, when I went to medical school, cancer rates were about 1 in 12. Now they're around less than 1 in 2. We had one person in 4,600 would get ADD, ADHD, or Asperger's syndrome. Now it's 1 in 68, and in some towns or cities it's actually 1 in 28. This technology couldn't come any sooner. I mean, right now the electropollution, I found out from Deborah Tavares on Monday when she sent me an update that in February one of these big 6 companies are putting up 5G satellites is going to have their satellites operationally and working in February, just 3 months from now. This is pretty dang nuts. You got demineralized and nutrient-deficient food, pesticides sprayed on everything, a weakened population with electrotoxins from dirty electricity, smart grid, and now 5G network, and soon 6G from China. They're working on it with Huawei. And now we've got, Trump and his idiots are pushing 5G and also pushing genetically modified food. So if you're not taking nutraceuticals now and getting technology like the Magi to erase all this crap on your body, electromagnetic, it's like having an electromagnetic shower. We have a physical shower every day, I do. This is like an electromagnetic shower to get the e-toxins off your body, right?
Yeah.
So tell us how it operates like an electromagnetic shower, because I believe this technology is actually groundbreaking. And there's a whole range. You've got all kinds of technology. I mean, you've got the Salvino mat, the QRS mat, the photon sound beam. And if you go down my menu, you'll see it there. I recommend, if you're going through me, you got to get a consult. The reason is you're not going to get the best effects unless you get nutraceuticals with that, and even may need testing. For example, our guy David D did tests 2 years ago, and he knew he was exposed to PATES because he does a lot of Arctic work, and he knows he was exposed to cadmium, but when he tested his body, his levels of aluminum were orbital. Well, that's because they're putting nanoparticle thorium, strontium, barium, and aluminum in the upper atmosphere. I know this firsthand, not secondhand, so it's not open to anybody's opinion. And they weaponized by turning the Earth into a plasma field for low Earth orbit satellites to steer storms, cause drought, and even trigger off earthquakes and volcanoes. So they've actually weaponized our home planet Earth. That's how nuts this is. And these particles, when they come down your body, you absorb them and you get returned into antenna. You get what we call antennified. So if you're exposed to dirty electricity or even 5G, the 5G system, like the smart grid system in your home, can not only talk to your refrigerator or shut off your washer and dryer until after 11 o'clock at night, it can actually transfer electromagnetic frequencies to your DNA and even your cortex, because eventually they want to have something like the miniseries that I just found on the weekend called The Feed, F-E-E-D. And it's so nuts, they want to actually be able to either give you a chip or a helmet or a headband hack into your cortex, so you can have co-dreams with somebody else that's your partner or somebody 1,000 miles away. Download the consciousness of a dying relative so you can experience them before they're dead, or form swarms of people that are literally living in cybernetic space. This is pretty nuts, and people have to understand you have to erase this crap, or we're going to be captured in a digital, epigenetic, and cortical new cybernetic world matrix. And one of the primary things to erase all this crap is the Magi, right?
Well, I would hope so. That's theoretically what we're hoping for. Again, we're like I told a couple of doctors before, we're writing the book on this. We really don't know. This is still very much experimental, but we do know, first of all, that it will do no harm. We've verified that. That's the first and foremost thing. The Hippocratic Oath, as you know, Dr. Bill, is first do no harm. And so you got to make sure that the 432 radio frequency, we've tested this over the last decade on animals, on plants, on insects. It actually, we put up something, a generator on a colony. There's a beekeeper that was experiencing a huge loss of his bees, hive collapse, colony collapse disorder, and the 432 radio frequency stopped it right now, stopped it immediately.
Right.
So we know it's good for the insects. It's good for plants. Plants are growing amazing. We have a gentleman. He's a rancher farmer in Colorado, who's become famous throughout the state because he's growing literally strawberries as big as softballs, and his eggs are.
What kind of what magnetic field is he using? What is he using?
Well, he's using our 432 hertz generator. We made a generator to pulse to 432. It's like it's what we do with the black box of the photon sound beam, Dr. Bill. We were making those electrical that stood alone.
Right. Let me give you a little story that I haven't said on air. Back in 1980, I had bought a practice from a Mormon prophet's daughter's husband's brother. And because I've been doing work and had trained in quantum biophysics, I was working with an electrical engineer who was one of my patients. We made a black box because I was one of the team doctors for the Calgary Flame hockey team. And so I got equipment that this guy actually bought for me and brought it over from Europe in my office. So I had a pulse magnetic field machine you could put around the entire patient and TENS machines. And I got some miraculous healing effects of the interaction between TENS, transelectral neural stimulator, and this pulse magnetic field from Europe. So I tried to develop theory to explain it. And I presented it to a panel of biophysicists in 1980 to Dr. Rowlands and about 40 plus MD PhDs and so on. And it's in my patent in 1986 called the Langerhans gate. And the fact is that you got to think of your body's skin like a plasma screen in your computer. If the computer screen doesn't see it, it's not happening. And what we did is I had one firefighter who I put through the treatment, and in 12 times, his bone spurs went away. I went down and re-x-rayed him in our basement just below our floor of our office. And darn things had disappeared. This is back like almost 40 years ago, 1980, 81. So I realized there's something here. And of course, when I started interacting with you, like it must be 15 years ago now, I realized you're a genius. You're way ahead of the curve. You're not only developed all these fancy nutraceuticals over at your site, but you realize when you're working with Linus Pauling, who started stereochemistry, he understands that living forms are basically an informational vibrational hologram, which is what your machine does. And you have these other machines that are based on the Fibonacci vortex math, the cell vital mat, and the generation before it, which I'm sitting on now, called a QRS mat. And Dr. Dan Royal used the QRS mat and the photon sound beam, and he's made cancer go away. I mean, you've had cases where you just gave them the Magi alone, and people have recovered from cachexia, end-stage cancer, where they don't want to eat a damn thing, and 24 hours they say, hey, your appetite's back. And if the machine starts to get defective or the batteries go on it, which happened in one of your cases you mentioned last time, they start to kind of go south again until they get a new machine. So this is pretty darn important breakthrough, isn't it?
Well, yeah, just an update on that gentleman. I understand he's in Florida this winter playing golf about every other day now. He's enjoying life again. His son gives me updates. He says, my mother just flat out thinks you're some kind of Jesus. resurrect.
Well, I think you're inspired by the Most High God, but I would say if you're talking to him or anybody else listening, contact me and I'll give you the epigenetic nutraceuticals that go along with that, including other treatments. For example, the layers would be get a Magi, maybe get a photon sound beam and a Celvino Matter QRS mat. Get those three. Get on my nutraceuticals, core nutraceuticals for cancer. Get testing done at RGCC in Greece so we can get a dendritic vaccine to make your body's immune cells seek and destroy the cancer. Take specific frequency therapy, which we can do through the Sonic Life and through other technology, because besides raising energetic, if you have specific frequencies through the Sonic Life or other technology like the ProLam Plus or Proton or ProGen 3, you get a synergistic effect. You have this amazing effect with the 432 hertz because everything is amplified. But I add the epigenetic frequencies through the Sonic Life and these others. But when you take the nutraceuticals and layers like the dendritic vaccine, in fact, under Donald Trump, we've got a anti-cancer vaccine that makes you go after the blood vessels that have different antigens, so your body will attack cancer blood vessels. So when you add these other layers, your chances of recovery increase dramatically. So I think the fact he's already gotten better on the Magi is miraculous. This means if this device was in every cancer clinic, every senior home that has, like in Britain, the primary cause of death right now is dementia. Did you know that? No, dementia. So the primary cause of death in Britain is not heart attacks or strokes or just regular cancer. It's dementia. Isn't that wild?
Well, I was also going to mention, Dr. Bringhurst mentioned about the cranial sacrum connection. Well, there's all kinds of studies now, again, that it's like we have two brains. There's an autonomous intelligence in the sacral region of your pelvic floor, evidently. People say, well, I have a feeling in my gut. My gut is telling me that's not too far off. There's things happening there, but they're finding that addiction, okay, whether you're alcoholic or whether you're in opiate addiction is the stimulus is causing the vagus nerve to become basically dependent upon it. That's where the addiction drive comes from, is from your core. That's not your brain. It's your core sacrum demanding it. It's become dependent upon it. Now, what if you have a frequency that balances out those harmful addiction frequencies too? Like look what's happened with this dementia patient.
Right.
That's got to be tied into this. I'm intuitively believing. I have no collective data, but I think this could very well help addiction.
Right.
Whether it's nicotine, smoking addiction, et cetera.
Right.
So I mean, this has got a lot of potential for so many areas, I believe. So. Yeah.
In fact, I pulled up Dr. Brinkhurst. He's actually a 57-year-old anesthesiologist, got lots of qualifications, and he's in Dali, California, just outside San Francisco, Dali City. Yeah, cool guy. Sounds like he's very curious. If he's listening to the show, he's getting curious, which is good.
Oh, very much. We go way back. In fact, I don't know how many decades we've known each other, in so many different ways, working on.
Does he have an alternative clinic too, like a functional? Besides being an anesthesiologist, does he have a functional medicine clinic? Because I work with clinics all over the world. I don't care who they are. They can be, I've helped clinics, doctors in Stuttgart, Germany, or in Johannesburg, South Africa, or whatever, because I want to help, dialogue and share information and learn from them while they learn from me, and just like I've learned from you, and vice versa, I hope, and people that listen. So, the learning process happens with dialogue and sharing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And as we follow the path we've been laid out for, I'm convinced that the people will come forward as they need to. This one gentleman I was telling you about, he knows how. He says he can get this FDA approved pretty rapidly, the Magi device, because first of all, it's safe. That's pretty much a given. We know it's safe, except again, the contraindication of if you've got a pacemaker, a high-powered Gauss field sometimes interferes with the pacemaker magnetics. It's because that's magnetically driven too. So if you got a pacemaker, just stay away from this technology. I just recommend that.
That's pretty straightforward, obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Other than
Now, here's what I'd like to explore. Where I'm going in my technology, I'm doing what's called spectral analysis. I'm using a device that's similar to the one I had in the past from Keithley Enterprises, and I'm looking at a new one in the new year. And what I'm doing is actually extracting through the acupuncture points the quantum chi or prana frequency spectra. Now, back 22 years ago, back in the late 1990s, I was able to take a Keithley Enterprises microcert and chip analyzer to analyze the quality of chips, and Class 1 chips go to the military. We don't get Class 1 chips. They go to like missiles and jets and things like that. Class 2 plus chips can go to the public, to computers and air conditioning systems and whatever. So what happens is when you do a spectral analysis, you find, and I found this, that if you had a specific disease like rheumatoid, you could pick up the spectral frequency in the right knee, but if there's no disease in the left, you found no frequency. Isn't that cool? If you had cancer, I can measure the cancer frequency of, say, a lung cancer, and when I went to their bones, I could tell which bones the cancer had gone to by just touching the electrode to the skin over the area where I find an acupuncture point, which is a conductance point. And if they showed the frequency pattern match, it means that bone was going to be infected by a bone metastases. And then I would order the bone scan, and they always matched. Is that cool? So what I'm doing now is I'm working on a machine I'm developing as a technology. It'll be a diagnostic, not a therapeutic machine, but diagnostic first. And it'll actually, a doctor or nurse can have it like an electromagnetic stethoscope, if you want to call it. And they can just take it out of their pocket and scan over the skin. It'll tell what virus is growing in or what genes are turned on and off, what disease they have, including, say, rheumatoid or lupus or whatever. And it'll even tell you if you got a blocked artery just by scanning their skin in like a minute. So that's where the technology is going. And I don't know how many years it'll take me to get that all worked out. I figure sometime in the next 5 years I'll have the technology and patent it and everything. On the other side, I'm working on technology to extract frequencies from peptides that Dr. Cavinson and other scientists around the world have developed. That industry is $42.5 billion in a year now, in 2019. And what they discovered is if you take certain peptides, which are like the proteins when an organ's being degraded, they tell your DNA to rebuild the organ, like kidneys, liver, or whatever. And what I'm doing, I call it origami DNA. I'm trying to extract those frequencies. So I think combining your energetic technology like the Salvito mat, the QRS mat, the photon sound beam, and the Magi with what I call frequency-specific treatment and the right nutraceuticals, like a kind of a triad, then you really get amazing effects, even beyond just the remarkable effects of just the Magi and the photon sound beam and the Salvito mat. Now, that means I want to see if we can institute that through my colleagues like Dr. Dan Royal, who has an actual clinic in Vegas, who's already using the QRS mat and the photon sound beam you introduced him to last year when we were kind of interacting there, and he was considering putting shows on my radio.co network. And by the way, I do have lots of spots there for people to pop shows, but I'm going to have them embed my commercials, and they get a free spot there if they put a show on my radio.co channel, which I've included a lot of new directories. So what I want to do is get the word out. And in fact, I train doctors and health professionals and even grandmas free. I don't charge a cent, but I do charge for my time to make a video for them and review the chart. $150 per half hour. So if you're a doctor out there and you want to learn what to do about a certain condition, you don't have to sign a contract or anything. Just say, hey, doc, it's going to take an hour and a half. Let's go over these records. What are you going to recommend? And I videotape it all and then send it to them afterwards, whether it's reviewing MRI, CT, or blood work, or ordering tests that they may not be aware of. Because I'm like a medical pathologist. I've been doing this so long now, approaching almost 50 years, believe it or not, that I know where all the cool labs in America and other areas of the world are, or I can find them, and then I order the test kits and send them anywhere in the world. Pretty cool, hey?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Why is my clock saying 1:44 when usually we knock off at 1:40? Tomas, did we have a difference in our commercial or something there? Usually we knock off. Yeah, were we live? We're going into commercials 4 minutes late, right? Oh, or was it just because you're kind and I was on a word spree on one of my usual rants, and you just were kind and let me go, right? Haha. Funny guy, hey? And we're on still commercial now, right? For how many minutes will we be on? 4? 3? Okay, sounds good. All right.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day.
I remember when I lost my mind.
And welcome back. So, Dr. Drew, we have the sale on now. People will save 7%. I strongly recommend that they get a consult if you're getting any epigenetic treatment. That means the Photon Sound Beam, the Salvino mat, the QRS mat, and one of my favorite new machines now is a Magi, and I have 2 coming. I think you said they're in the mail today, so I may even get them this week. My son's arriving in a little over 2 weeks from Boston, Matthew. He's kind of a chip off the old block. He speaks 6 languages. He's a study of Chinese and natural medicine. The guy is like, he knows a lot of stuff I don't know. He can speak fluent Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, German, very fluent German, French, English, etc. And obviously, I need to pick up languages if I'm going to speak to these people in multiple countries or get a translator. I can speak some French, a little bit of Spanish, but not enough that I would be fluent if I went there. But what I want people to understand is we need to get the truth out to the population. We need to also start to rethink what the problem is and how to solve it. If we had a true functional integrative anti-aging program where everybody could get access and get a Magi, or everybody can get their nutraceuticals or functional testing, we'd have healthy 80 and 90-year-olds going back into sports and opening up businesses, going to college or rock climbing. We would have people that are older that are actually getting physiologically younger, like Cocoon, the movie that came out 20 years ago, where we have people that used to be in a walker and are now jogging. We have people that couldn't see and have new recreated eyeballs, or veterans that have lost their legs have grown new legs. That's the future I want to see, isn't it? That's the kind of future we need to start visually. As I said, my people perish for lack of vision. You're a visionary, and what you've done with your nutraceuticals and what you've done with this technology is visionary, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I said I'm not smart enough to
yeah, but you've been put in a position where you can kind of coordinate with all these neat people. Like you mentioned already, you didn't invent the Magi. I have a feeling you had a big part of it. I don't know. Who else was the other person you think that helped you get the Magi going?
Well, it was basically, when we started making the photon sound beams, the idea, the whole thing that I was looking to.
Same engineers, right?
What?
Same engineer, right? So ex-military, same engineer that recreated the photon sound beam years ago, right?
Ed Skilling reverse engineered the old tube technology of the old machines into the solid state circuit boards, and
right.
that's where he's deceased now. He's passed on, but surely he was a genius to do that. It takes to understand. You have to understand tube technology to understand
right.
how it could be translated into the solid state circuit boards.
Right.
So yeah, we owe Ed a big debt.
Ed Gilling is his name, right? Gilling.
Yeah, Ed Skilling. Yes.
Now you have a new engineer that's working with you, and you've talked about to me to mention that you're working on a project to actually miniaturize the photon sound beam to make it more portable, like the Magi.
Well,
right?
this is what I was going to say. This was the first step towards doing that, because we had, first of all, we wanted to have a portable black box technology to see that the photon sound beam was actually two machines in one. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, yeah, I did. You told me that about a year ago, right?
Yeah, the black box technology is standalone. You can have that pulse at 432 hertz, and we've made special machines for veterinarians over the years because they found that putting that pulsating black box in their vet kennels and cages, the cats and dogs really relaxed quicker. They recovered better from the anesthesiology. They just had
right.
a whole lot less trauma and stress in them,
right.
and that was palpable. So
right.
we know that it works. We've had that. So I was wanting to get a DC driven. We started with the black box, and I call it the Magi because we found out
right.
it's the magnetic acoustic Gauss field that's generated, and that's why
right.
what Magi stands for, magnetic acoustic Gauss infuser.
Mm-hmm.
And we started doing that and found that the magnets in a specific array that's geometrically, it's basically a sacred geometry circle of
right.
9, just like Stonehenge, by the way, Dr. Bill.
Right. Right.
Those monoliths of Stonehenge are arranged in a circle for a reason, and they have a specific equidistance. If you measure them, it's all significant. Believe me, it's all significant.
Well, you mentioned before it's called vortex math, right? Vortex math.
Exactly.
Which basically governs everything in the universe, whether it's star systems and white holes and black holes. Now, a white hole is actually the emergence of a star and a planet. A black hole is proportional in terms of mass and size to the white holes of all the stars in any galaxy. And vortex math applies to every living thing, every informational thing that's nonlinear, which is we call holographic, parallel processing, stochastic fuzzy logic vortex math, including every living thing in the entire universe, is all based on this same mathematics you're talking about with your machine, right?
Yeah, it's called the law of doubling. It's like when the zygote is formed by the fertilization of a sperm into an egg. Wow, at the moment of fertilization, a massively blinding flash of light is created. And from that from that light, which is electromagnetic, light is electromagnetic wave.
Right.
From that, we have the multiplication where 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, etc. Now, that eventually forms in that spiral of a circle. It's the reason why eggs, the cell is a circular structure, because outside of that is when you start getting, cancer starts multiplying willy-nilly. It doesn't follow the law of 2, and the Fibonacci spiral becomes basically what's called the golden mean, becomes absolutely attacked, and life ceases at that point.
Right.
What's amazing, Dr. Bill, is whatever frequency of pathogens you have, whether it's poisons, strychnine or white sugar, by the way, it's
Right.
quite poisonous actually.
Right.
White sugar, you add the numbers up. I've mapped this out. 528 hertz is the frequency of white sugar, refined
Right.
white sugar. Add 5 plus 2, you get 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. Well, guess
Right.
what? That holds true with every pathogenic nasty that's in there. Whether it's
Well,
a
in fact,
cancer,
this is one of the things that I do now, is we've got the Nagelase frequency, which you can put through the Sonic Life and these other epigenetic machines like the Pearl M Plus and ProGen 3 microcurrent. The Pearl M Plus generates a 30-foot field. And by the way, they've had this machine for, I think, 30 years through Resonant Light in British Columbia, Canada. And they have lots of doctors who are trying to stay below the radar for the regulators. And they're using Rife frequencies and Rife tables. But what you're doing, what I'm doing, which is actually science-based spectral analysis, we can actually calculate out the mass of a pathogen through its atomic mass and a neutralizing frequency. So we can create a radionic field that can, for example, clear crops of pathogens or clear the body of a virus or, say, fungi. For example, all cancer has got Epstein-Barr virus that I've found so far. Every cancer has got Epstein-Barr virus in it. Every cancer has got a fungus in it. Right?
Here's what I was trying to tell you, though. Let me finish, if I could.
Yeah, please.
The solfeggio frequencies that I studied with Dr. Joseph Paleo, who's now deceased also.
Right.
Dr. Paleo had access to the Vatican archives, and this is ancient technology that's been suppressed.
Right.
But there were 9 solfeggio tunes. Now, they'd be broken down into groups of 3, 6, and 9. Tesla said, understand the importance of 3, 6, and 9. You understand the keys to the universe. Well, this is very true in the solfeggio tones.
Exactly.
But when you take those, they're all 3-digit frequencies, okay?
Wow.
528 is a solfeggio tone. 432 is a solfeggio tone. When you
Wow.
add the digits up, you either have 9, 6, or 3. Well,
Wow.
6 is deadly. It's toxic. 3
Ah.
is against 6, but 9 governs all of it. 9 is
Wow.
sovereign. 9 is sovereign.
Amazing stuff. I mean, you blow me away always when we talk, and I learn things every time we have an interview. Thank you, Dr. Truatt, and thank you for the Magi, the QRS mat, the Salvino mat, the photon sound beam, and of course our other technologies for delivering frequencies, Sonic Life, Pearl M Plus, and ProGen 3, and soon the Lumen Photon with a new device for building, which will happen in the next year or so.
Which is most important because that was your theme.